Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good evening to each and every single one of you. Big shout out to all of our subscribers. We passed 150,000 yesterday evening. So I want to do a little bit of a show tonight. Lines are open. You guys can come on, have your say. Some of the main talking points. Harry Maguire. I want to know what people think and feel. Supposedly a bid made by Man United for Douglas Costa has been rejected. A lot of people tweeting me today, DMing me what's going on with Sancho, no updates. The deal is still on. Jadon Sancho to Man United is still open. It is still active. It still may be complete, but there are no major updates in relation to that. If you want to get your super chats in, member comments in, or if you want to come on the show, all the information to do that is inside our description below here for the next 45 minutes or so. But again, also just want to take some time to say thank you to celebrate hitting 150,000 subscribers. You know, maybe 3 years ago when we were sitting there on 20, 30,000, I never really thought we'd get to this size. And, you know, now we've got the aim and ambition to do 200,000, 250,000, and then one day maybe even onto 500,000. Who knows? So a massive thank you to each and every single one of you that has made that possible. I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. You've made it achievable and attainable for us to do that. So, yeah, Benjamin, thank you, my friend, for the congratulations. Jeremy, one of our members, thank you. Stephen, watching before he goes to work. Thank you, my bro. I appreciate that. Just make sure you're all doing one thing, hitting that like button, because there's 536 people watching right now live, and we're on 100 likes. So come on, let's whack that past. Let's all just hit it now. Let's get it onto 500 likes before we start. Let's get this video out there trending. That'd be Ramana there says, thank you. Terry, sorry, I didn't say thank you. He says, congratulations for 150K. I'm saying thank you to you for saying that. I appreciate it, but I want your views and opinions. They're the subjects we're talking about. If you've got any other questions for me, please feel free to come on the show and ask them. We're going to jump straight into a call here with Dan. Dan, welcome to the channel. How you doing, mate?
Fine.
Good. What do you want to speak about?
Anything really.
Sorry?
Anything.
Well, the idea is you come in and talk about one of the things that we're chatting about, but if you've got nothing much to say, that's not a problem at all, mate. You take care of yourself. We'll jump on to, we've got Abdullah with us here. Abdullah, welcome to the show. What do you want to say, mate? You going to speak? Okay, Abdullah's not going to speak. No problem. Next up, he spoke then towards the end. If you're in the waiting area, you might just get thrown on quickly. Thank you very much, by the way, to Daniel, the Chelsea fan, for becoming a member. We've added Mash to the call here. Mash, what do you want to say, my friend?
Hello, Terry. Congratulations on 150,000 subscribers. This is the day for you. Yeah, all your hard work's come off. You've given the fan base something new. You've given us a chance to come on and speak about football. So you deserve this day, yeah. So enjoy this day. That's the first thing I'd like to say.
Appreciate that, bro. What's your thoughts on? I mean, what story that we've got up on the board tonight? You want to speak about? Which one's in your mind the most today?
Yeah, I saw the Sancho one.
Yep.
We've been on and off with Sancho all season, all this summer and all season, I'd say. So, and also I think the other thing that I saw was the Douglas Costa bid.
Yep.
I'd like to ask this to you, frankly, Terry. That do you really think that we're in for Douglas Costa, or it's just something to show Dortmund that we're pursuing other targets?
Honestly, there's about 20% of me that thinks there's something in Douglas Costa. I hope there isn't. I really, really hope that it isn't the case and that we're not looking for him. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's better than what we've got. I don't even think he's that much. Look, okay, he is better than Pereira and he is better than Lingard, but I think it's only marginal. I honestly think David Brooks would be a better signing than Costa, and he doesn't even play in a wide position. You know, I think he's such an underworld. If we were going to go for a Douglas Costa, we might as well have signed Willian for free from Chelsea.
Yeah,
that's what we should have done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, mate. That would be my view on that one. If I'm being honest with you.
The other thing I'd like to add in is that if we are gonna go for someone like Douglas Costa, um, the sale of Sanchez doesn't make sense. Yeah, his wages are off the books, but if you look at them, they're around the same age. They played in the same league. So why didn't you just renegotiate or do something else with Sanchez rather than sign Costa for
Well,
25 to 30 million?
yeah, I mean that's why I think we are looking at other players. We have to sell first. It's just taking a bit too long now for some people, mate. But listen, I appreciate you coming on, having your say, mate. Thank you very, very much, man. Thank you. Oh, sorry, you're talking again. I apologize. There. Next up, we've got James Boateng. James, what do you want to say, my friend?
First of all, I would like to say thank you for having me on your show, and thanks for reaching 150,000 subscribers.
I thank
Okay,
you.
my problem is Manchester United. People have been taking us for a ride when it comes to buying players, and I think we all want the Sancho deal. But let's be realistic. In this economic climate, we cannot spend all our money on one player. So my question is, do you think after Sancho, can we buy other players, or like is it good to stop the Sancho deal and focus on, let's say, the midfield and defense?
Well,
So
I think,
that
yeah, I think you're right. That's where the deal is, in my opinion. I think if we sift through all the different stories, my view is very much this: that Dortmund have moved the goalposts continuously throughout this. They are now at a stage where they're saying 120 million euros up front. Man United have got the money to do that, but it would stop us from signing other players. And that's why I believe we're asking Gabriel to slow down making his decision, because if we could pay an initial 60, 70 million pounds up front for Jadon Sancho, maybe you pay 10 million up front for Gabriel and the rest over the next year or so. If you look at another 40 million pound player that you pay 20 million for this summer, you can bring your total spend is 100 million. Maybe 110 million, but you've signed 3 players, because this is where I saw a tweet the other day, but one of the very smart young lady that runs the United Stand website. And it was a funny thing about buying the Man United kit and for paying for it installments. And it was genuinely funny. But I know he's intelligent enough to know that the majority of transferred are paid via installments. Very few clubs in very few deals in the history of the last 20, 30 years of the game pay for their transfers up front in cash. So Man United have got a decision to make. And this is where, as fans, it's very easy for us to make these decisions and say what should happen, because there's no recourse for it. Nothing comes back against us. Your opinion isn't going to land you in trouble. Your opinion isn't what's going to mess Man United up. But they either have to make a choice of dropping their intentions for Sancho and buying the 2 or 3 other players needed, or you go all in for Sancho and then have to wait till next summer to buy someone. And I think that's where the club is currently in that sort of position and stuff like that. But James, mate, I appreciate you coming on, having your say. Thank you very, very much as always. Next up on the show, we have Mohammed. Mohammed, what do you want to say, my brother?
Hello.
Hello, buddy. What's on your mind? Which story do you want to speak about?
I want to talk about the Sancho deal. I feel like I know Jadon Sancho will add a lot of quality to the team. I feel like this is like a statement from Man United to show that if you Douglas Costa, that's showing that we want to finish 4th every single season. Buying Jadon Sancho shows that we want to win the league title. We want to go back to where we used to be. So it's like a statement signing, or show the league that we are the club we used to be, and we're no longer like Arsenal or like a Spurs. So I feel like this signing will show that we are like one of the biggest clubs in the world, not a top 4 club. So
yeah, and I understand that, and I feel the same in that regard. The Douglas Costa issue is just, I don't think Douglas Costa is good enough for Man United. As I've said, I think he's marginally better than Jesse Lingard. I wouldn't look at him and say he is an absolute out there baller, if that makes sense. If it was a different, I'm just thinking of it. If we were like, okay, we're not going to get Sancho, but there's Jack Grealish and James Maddison coming in. I'm just throwing 2 names out there. I'd be like, okay, I like these 2 players. I think they're excellent. I think Douglas Costa is only marginally better than someone like a Gray from Leicester. So I totally understand in relation to that. But as Jan came on the show yesterday and said, Dortmund want the player going into next season. However, if they pay the money, they'll get it done. What would you prefer, based on the last call? we pay all the money now, cash up front, and get Jadon Sancho and maybe nobody else, or I'm just going to throw names out here. It doesn't need to be these individuals, but buy Grealish, Van de Beek, and Gabriel, but no Jadon Sancho. Which, in your opinion, at this point would be the better option for Man United?
I don't want us to become a team like Real Madrid from the early 2000s, just to buy Galacticos and just trying to. I want us to sign Sancho, but if we're gonna go and spend, if we're gonna pay the agent fee, all the wages, and the 120 million euros up front, I don't think that's sensible. Like, he's a 20-year-old kid that's going to come into Man United. He's going to wear the number 7 shirt, and he's going to be the most expensive player in Premier League history. If we're going to spend all that money, we're going to put all that pressure on a player. We saw what happened with Pogba. One mistake, he'll just be all over the news. And I don't know if that's sensible. I think we should get him, but I don't think if we have an option to get Thomas Partey, a Van de Beek, or a Sancho Gabriel, I think that's a better option for United.
I agree. I'm starting to. I want Jadon Sancho, and the other day I was like, yeah, I'd do that. But I think you could argue it is a more sensible option to go for the others. In relation, last thing I'd say in relation to the crowd and people getting and the media being on Jadon Sancho's back, this is where Man United fans have got to be stronger. It's highly likely whether we sign him by himself or sign 3 other players alongside him, the Jadon Sancho deal will make him over-scrutinized in the same way that Harry Maguire is. And we've seen with Harry Maguire, the normalization of the abuse and the fake outrage and the exaggerated criticism of Harry Maguire has led to him being attacked and abused on a friends and family holiday, which is then led to his sister being stabbed. Right? Reportedly stabbed, thankfully in her arm and not in her stomach or her chest or somewhere more vital. But this is where we have to, as Man United fans, have the back of our players. For me, if this season there would have been all this, Maguire, I get there's a joke. Maguire marked his own player from a corner. No look defending. It's a joke. It's the Man United fans who are too sensitive to take this and then go on and berate and abuse him. We've created a culture where certain football players, Fellaini was another one at Man United, where people just felt, because no one cares that person gets abused, when I see him face to face, I can do the same thing. And that action, people continuing to overly abuse him, over criticize him, as I say, and the non-defense, but the majority of Man United fans has normalized it. That normalization has led to him being attacked and abused in person, and therefore his own sister has ended up being stabbed in the arm. And for me, that's where Man United fans have got to be stronger and have their own backs, because I'm telling you, United fans this now. There's no way Liverpool fans would allow one of their players to be abused in the same way that Maguire is when the man's doing well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just an absolute nonsense. But Mohammed, thank you very much for coming on. And having said that, what was his name? The goalkeeper. I want to say Karius did get a fair bit, to be fair. But it was very short-lived, if that made sense. Maguire's has been going on for over 12 months now, and Jadon Sancho will suffer the same. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Next up on the show, we've got Shane. Shane, welcome back to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say, my guy?
I wouldn't want Douglas Costa at all. I just think it would be a really bad sign for us to make. And with the Sancho deal, it kind of surprises me how much our fans moan because of how long the deal's getting done. People need to realise Dortmund are probably one of the worst clubs to be negotiating with deals like this, because they're going to want a lot of money and they're quite stubborn. And when you've got our board who don't really like to spend a lot of money on players, it's going to take time. So I don't really understand why our fan base are getting so frustrated about this deal. I don't get it.
Look, I think from my point of view, I mean, I'm frustrated. I'm starting to get frustrated that we're not getting these deals over the line. I'm still waiting for the first big deal to happen, and it could be Ben Chilwell, it could be Havertz, it could be Gabriel. I don't count as a big deal. It's going to be about 27 million. When the first one is finalized and over the line, I would then start to expect to see a bit of a ripple effect. I've said that all along. The problem is, if Chilwell's announced tomorrow and Havertz on Tuesday, and then Gabriel on Tuesday as well, and then by sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, United haven't moved anything further along, I understand why people are going to begin to become sort of frustrated with Man United.
No, I understand the frustration why we're not signing enough players. I agree with that, but I don't understand the frustration towards us trying to own the Sancho deal. I don't understand the frustration with it. That's what
the
I'm trying to
Sancho,
say.
I get that. The Sancho deal in itself isn't one for me that I'm pretty relaxed about. I get that. United fans just are because then as ever, they're not looking at the bigger picture. Big shout out to Lady United in Red's chat. Do us a favor, call the show now. Come on the air. I'd love to get your opinion on a few bits and pieces. Mark here says, nice one. Let's get to 250K before. Listen, if we could get to 200K before Christmas, that'd be amazing. I don't know how plausible that is, but thank you very much on that. Quick thoughts as well for yourself, Shane, on Harry Maguire.
I don't know what's the whole what's actually happened. I know that I'd say he's going to get stripped of the captaincy. I think he will. He went to a bar with 3 friends, didn't he? And got into a brawl. I don't know if it was him who got into it though.
Okay, so I mean, this is it. We don't know all the facts yet. Essentially, and this is why it's important because again, I thought when I first heard this, captaincy's gone, and then you start to hear you read the eyewitness accounts, you start to see what the brief information that's been released by his side. You listen to local reports. Essentially, him and his fans were being berated and abused verbally by rival fans, attacking him, singing about Munich, all types of things. They then confronted Maguire and his friends physically. There's a result. There's a large report that his sister was stabbed in the arm with a sharp object. That has then led to Maguire stepping in and we believe hitting some of these people. Now, based
I would have done the same.
But that was what I was about to say. This is where context is always exceedingly important. Now, we have to wait for the facts. I've said all along, right? If Harry Maguire is the aggressor, if Harry Maguire is just beating up 3 or 4 men and then beating up a police officer for no real reason, I would endorse the removal of captaincy and maybe even a more severe punishment
of course.
from Man United. However, if that's what he's done, and then it also turns out that the police that confronted him in the middle of this brawl because he's hitting people because someone's just stabbed his sister were in plain clothes. So if you've had a few drinks, your sister's just been attacked, you're fighting these random strangers, and then some more random strangers in normal clothes come up to you and start grabbing you, it's feasible that you might hit one of them until you realize that they're police officers. And I think that's what's important here to remember. And just because you have struck a police officer doesn't mean you're always guilty of assault, because in law, context is required. Was he fearful for his life and his sister's from being hurt? Yes, then it could be down to self-defense. But he has pleaded not guilty. It's going to come out in court. But I think what people have got to do with this is remain very, very balanced. I wouldn't sort of die on a hill for him if he has done it wrong. But I get this little feeling. I've said all along from day one, I think he's been provoked. I think they've been attacked. I think he's defended himself. And then after that, it's still a little bit murky. But let us wait and see. But he is out. He is now home. Shane, thank you very much for coming on the show, mate, and having your say. Really do appreciate it. On the Harry Maguire situation, as I say, people, can come out and it's excuses. It's this, it's that. Listen, we are literally going to see we've literally got to see what comes out in the wash. Jake here, super chat, says, I'm from Leicester, and one of the people I know had a fight with Harry, said nothing about a stabbing. Bro, I cool. I mean, I don't know who you are. I don't know how you can verify that. Eyewitnesses have told, in other eyewitness reports, have said that it is true. As I say, we'll take all this information with a pinch of salt as far as it goes forward. But in terms of removing Harry Maguire from captaincy, no. I've seen Liverpool fans this morning say, why is he not being branded a thug in the media? Because there's no proof he is one. And you shouldn't be branding anybody. And I have the same energy here that I have for any football player, regardless of the team, country, skin color, religion, sexual orientation. I don't want to see the media vilify him until we know the facts, until something is proven, right? Yes, I know that other football players get vilified for dancing, and that is disgusting. You don't equal the scales by vilifying somebody else. You really do have to understand morally your actions are the wrong way around. You should say, look how well Maguire's being treated by certain areas of the press. That's what I want for Raheem Sterling. Instead, what you get is more abuse of Maguire. That doesn't help Raheem Sterling. That doesn't help Paul Pogba. That doesn't create balance. That doesn't show me that you care about equality. That tells me that you just want everyone to get hate. That's what it sounds like. Oh, hang on. Maguire's not getting enough hate. I want him to get more hate. That's the wrong way round, bruv. It's the wrong way round. Up next on the show, we've got Elite KJ in the house.
150K, people. Let's go, baby. 150K. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. Terry, you are the man. You deserve all the subs and all the membership money in the world, fam. You know what I'm saying? So let's go.
One day, there we go, bro. Which of these stories, Douglas Costa, Maguire, the Sancho deal? What's on your mind, bro?
I'll start off with Maguire. Honestly, the whole thing, I don't care. I don't, because people do this like all the time. People go away, do have these little scraps and that all the time, and you don't really hear nothing about them. I know he's a Premier League footballer, so it's different, but I don't know the story. I don't know Harry. It don't affect me, so I ain't gonna worry about it. The only thing that's annoying me is the way the media are treating it, in terms of, I know why it's treated the way it's treated compared to other footballers. We ain't gonna talk about it because we've already spoke about it, but we all know why it happens.
Yeah.
And I see it, and it's like, I just want, now the next time I see a footballer, no matter who it is in that situation, I want y'all to be like doing these 3 pieces of how amazing of a person they are, because I didn't see that for certain footballers.
And I totally agree. And we said the same thing with when Callum Hudson-Odoi was done. Like, it was a case of treat the man with respect. I don't care how good or bad a footballer you think, how good or bad a footballer they are, the form they're on, the money they're earning is irrelevant for me in these situations. Completely irrelevant for me in these situations. My only bugbear is you're not doing it though. See, what you're not doing, you're doing it the right way. You're condemning the media and the publications for the way they treat 2 people differently. What you're not doing is going, right, I'm going to abuse Maguire because of that. And it's like, it's not Maguire's fault. And then what happens is you then attack Maguire, people then back Maguire, and the media sit back going, look what we did. It's the way I look at it is #Pied Piper. Whenever they do that, do you get where I'm coming from? They are divide and conquer tactics every single step of the way. And that's what they're doing amongst society.
Literally, like, all the heat should be on these men. Like, Harry Maguire can't help people writing stories about him. Like, they can't. He can't help that he's white and he might get the privilege. And so don't go on him. Go on these media outlets who do this on purpose. It's frustrating. When Sterling is buying his mum a house, when Lingard and Pogba are dancing, the amount of hate that they're getting from the media is disgusting, fam. So the reason I'm not liking the Harry Maguire headlines, it's nothing to do with Harry Maguire. It's all to do with the fact that these men know what they're doing and they need to be on smoke. They need to be on blast. And I swear, anyone who keeps, I get the banter. No, the banter's funny. I've seen some funny jokes about Harry Maguire being like, the people who are directly attacking Maguire, man, he can't help the situation with the press. You don't tell them to write good things about him. Go at the press, man. Give them smoke. Let them make them realize why they need donations on their pages, because they're dead, fam.
And that's it, and that's exactly it. And I think for me, that's what I've been calling out. And I get people going, yeah, but they're different, and yeah, but this player, this. I'm like, listen, I'm defending Maguire in the same way that I would be defending Paul Pogba in this situation. I'm looking for the facts. I'm balanced. If Maguire's the bad guy here, watch me rain fire on him as the captain of my football club. But if he's the victim in it, and do you know what the biggest thing that made me laugh? If we look at the last 5 months in this world, we've literally been saying that police corrupt. This is corrupt. Everything's corrupt. Suddenly, and by the way, like, I got a lot of friends, Liverpool fans. They don't trust the authorities anywhere on anything. But yet the Greek police say, oh yeah, the player did these 5 things. And so, yeah, see, the police said he's guilty. Suddenly, the police are speaking the gospel truth. And I sort of sit down, I'm like, yeah, I see, especially certain people I know. I watch a Twitter account. You challenge anything, any official from any part of the world ever says about anything, right? Literally, the police told you it was raining outside. You'd stick your head out. You would never take no word. Do you get me? If they said it was raining, you see it was raining, you'd be like, how are they setting this up? They got a rain machine. You wouldn't believe them. But yeah, on Maguire, it's like, see, knew it was, for me, the whole thing has got, honestly, when I saw the police, every time the police released a new thing about how bad it was, the wording they used, you could face up to 2 years in prison, all this stuff. I'm like, all I could think was Juicy Smollett. That's all I could think of in my head. I was like,
right. I heard in the 2 years. Yeah. I heard the 2 years. I'm like, he ain't doing 2 years. Let's come on now. You guys just want the peas. You just want the money. And that's okay, because you guys, it's Greece. You man need to get as much money as you can in it. I
read as well. See, and this is the things. I read one of the media reports come out of Greece, and they were saying how local radio said that when he was he wasn't handcuffed when taken into the police station. So you don't not handcuff a violent guy you've arrested. So there was an element of he was not even restrained when he was in sort of the custody area. Reportedly, Harry Maguire misunderstood what they said. He thought he was being fined. So he said, well, how do I pay you? And that was then interpreted as you trying to bribe us. And all these things have been cleared up today. So, the bribery bit.
That's funny. That's funny.
that is funny, and that's the thing, right? And these are the things where wait for the fact, but that element hasn't even been part of the ongoing. It's been elements dropped now because it's a misunderstanding, and once these things get cleared up, they're taken care of. But one of the funniest parts of the eyewitness thing, it was a local person who said they were calling him these names, and he goes, one of them said that he was like a fridge. And the next line was, but I don't understand what they mean. And again, that's what I thought was like, that's how you know 100% it was British people that were having a go at them. And do you know the biggest and the most embarrassing thing is about this? It isn't even Maguire, because I feel like Maguire and his people have defended themselves. It's Brits going abroad and behaving that way. And it's rival fans. And you know if it's rival fans, I've got a sense it's either going to be Leeds or Liverpool supporters. I get a feeling that's what it's going to come out as. It might, again, that's just a hypothesis, but there we go. I'm going to throw a few more people into this call now. Who we got? We've got Kelvin James up, and we've got Victoria as well. First of all, Kelvin. Sorry, Kelvin. What do you want to say, mate?
How are you doing?
Very well, bro.
How are you doing? Maguire, I think he shouldn't be captain. Firstly, not because of what he did, of course. I just think he's not a leader ever. He's never been a leader. He's a bit like Wan-Bissaka. He's never been a leader.